I always feel like it has to be that give and take balance. A lot of people always say the 50-50 thing.
Ooh, clutch the pearl.
Right. But
What's that?
So it has to be 100-100.
Yeah,
Everybody has to come with their
100%.
100%.
Yeah, 100%. But, men like the 50-50 conversation until they meet someone who makes more money than them.
Right. Yes, so this is our very, very first podcast, and I'm sitting here with my good girlfriend, Dawn, and we decided to do this because we both deal with so many women and have for so many years. So we're constantly hearing the struggles and the plights of the Black woman specifically, but I think these things kind of relate to all women, and specifically women over 40 who are really still trying to find their voice. You have any thoughts on that, Dawn?
No, but today we're just going to talk about some of the things that I think we face every day when we're talking to our clients, whether it is in the salon or in the real estate industry. A lot of women are struggling to find their way, even in their 40s and 50s. And I know that may be some people that you know, or even yourself. They're struggling to find their way. We both are firm believers that everyone should have multiple streams of income. So that's what we'll be talking about overall. How you can have multiple streams of income, become an entrepreneur, become an investor at any age, but specifically 40s and 50s. So that you can have a stress-free retirement.
Right, because I feel like so many people out there are talking about wealth building and what that looks like. And you hear a lot of the templates that say start at 20, but so many people that was not what we were hearing at that age. It was kind of like live for today and spend your money, have a good time. So I'm starting to hear that a lot at this age when people are kind of coming close to retirement and trying to figure out how they can do that. So it got me thinking about what does wealth mean to me. But first and foremost, I wanted to see what Merriam-Webster's idea of wealth was or what her definition was. And it is an abundance of possession. So for me, I started thinking about like an abundance of possessions. Like, what do I want to possess?
See, wealth is so different. Everyone has a totally different perspective on wealth. And I'm sure if you've been out here in these dating streets, you know that what's a lot to some is not a lot to others, but you define wealth however you want to. But at the end of the day, we all have one thing in common. We want to make sure that we're well taken care of when we no longer can work and we can no longer take care of ourselves. And I think that's what a lot of us strive for, to at least have enough resources in place to make sure that our children aren't stuck with the burden of having to take care of us, which is something that I'm sure we'll discuss on a later episode, which is elder care and how a lot of us are taking care of our parents at this point. But what is wealth to you? Because to me, wealth to me is different. I need a yacht. I need a penthouse condo. I need to be on the water.
Right.
I need 6 to 8 vacations a year. I mean, wealth is different for everyone.
It is, because that sounds amazing and fun, but I think now that I am past that 50 marker, I kind of start thinking about it in the tangible things. And when I say that, like wealth meaning, it's funny because when I started making my list about wealth, a lot of them mirrored what my affirmations are.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, you do affirmations?
I do affirmations.
I need to work on that.
Yes. So
I don't use affirmations.
Yeah. So wealth to me is first and foremost my peace. So yes, and that was like literally number one on my affirmation list, on my wealth list. Obviously love. We all crave that, desire that, want that. And that can come in so many different forms. Also, obviously prosperity. That is the main really definition of wealth. But like I said, we are interpreting it our own way because all of these things do make you a wealthy woman. Having peace, having prosperity, really having knowledge. Because that was on my list as well. Because these are the affirmations. I desire the knowledge that desires me. I desire the wealth that desires me. I desire the prosperity that desires me. I desire the love that desires me. And most and foremost, well, this is not foremost, but it's important. I desire the understanding that desires me, because this is something Black women struggle with so often. And we're seeing that right now play out when it pertains to Monique specifically. Yeah, because I really feel like a lot of what she has been saying really speaks to wanting to be heard.
For sure.
Yes.
But interesting point, and I'm not really up to date with everything that goes on with Monique because I don't watch a lot of TV or hear a lot of the videos. But if she is concerned about being heard, is she being heard at home? That becomes a question as well. And how is she handling not being heard? Maybe her approach could be slightly different.
I agree with that. I think her approach probably, and before we get off on this, I think her approach has been definitely wrong.
A little abrasive.
Yeah. But honestly, kind of speaks to us East Coast girls. I'm just saying. Well, okay, I know that's not you, but I'm an East Coast girl. I'm a DC girl. Okay, all right. So, I mean,
what quadrant you from?
I'm from Southeast.
Oh, two Southeast chicks.
Right. So sometimes I think when we feel like we're not being heard, we can be abrasive, even if it's not our current lifestyle or the lifestyle we want to portray or put out there. Kind of in our DNA, and it's what we know.
So I've come a long way.
All right.
Because I'm no longer abrasive.
All right.
I've been told that I'm probably a little too nice, a little too kind, and I should say more.
Maybe I should add that to my affirmations.
But just over time, I just have gotten to a point where there are a lot of things that I just don't address. I'm Beyonce.
All right.
Not Monique. I'm more of the Beyonce one. I'm going to ignore it.
Okay. I haven't grown to that just yet.
I mean, it's taken years to get to this point. I just will not say nothing. And I deal with it personally, and I just understand that I can't control a lot of external circumstances, and I don't try to. I accept it for what it is. I figure out how I'm going to move forward with that being the case, and then I let it go. And that's just how I move with a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
It may not be the right thing, but that's what I do. And I mean, I know a lot of, that's like an issue with Black women, the way we come off. And I think to change that narrative, we have to change how we come off. So even though you can't just keep using that as an excuse saying, oh, I'm just a Southeast girl. I'm just a, things didn't go right for me. I mean, I probably had one of the roughest childhoods, but that can't be an excuse. You can no longer keep using that as an excuse. And in order to get things the way you want them, what they say, you can catch more flies with honey than you can with vinegar.
I think it's bees, but either way.
So I just drip honey all over the place. I just drip honey.
That's so sweet.
I drip honey. Or I don't say nothing.
Oh, wow.
I am the queen of nothing.
Yeah, I need to add that to my wealth building list because
I just don't say anything, which is bad in a way because I find in dating, I'm told that I don't communicate as well as I should.
Well,
that's neither here nor there. That's neither here nor there. I mean, it is what it is. But just to give a brief introduction so that we can at least know, both of us have been been entrepreneurs most of our adult life. I know for me, it's been since I was 24. So about 25 years. Ooh, I shouldn't have said that.
It's all good. We look great, so it's all good.
So I've been an entrepreneur for 25 years. And how long have you been?
I started at 21 and I've been an entrepreneur now for 36 years.
So a wealth of knowledge here.
Yes.
So we both have owned several different businesses in different industries. We both have had businesses that have done 7 figures in revenue, bought, sold,
moved on, or I mean, like
otherwise.
Yeah, because
with several of them.
yeah.
Sometimes it just don't work out.
Right. Even with the money being an aspect.
Yeah.
Getting back to protecting the peace.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
And people don't always understand why
Right.
you make those decisions. But yeah, sometimes you have to protect this first, which is the reason that I believe a lot of women don't make that jump into entrepreneurship. It's because they can't get out of their head.
Correct. Let's see, and we talked about this before because I guess doing it the first time at 21, I don't even know if it was a thought for me.
Well, nothing is a thought at 21.
It sure isn't.
When we date, it's not even a thought. You be like, oh, he cute.
Right.
Oh, okay, I'm going to go ahead on and be with him. Or you'll just say, oh, I think I want to do hair. And you just do hair.
It, right.
Like my son, he woke up one day and said, I'm going to be a DJ. And he's DJing at all these clubs now. Right. He just woke up and did it. But think about it. At our age now, we have to plan and plot and research and figure it out. And that's what stops us. We put so much
effort into that.
Time in planning and not executing.
Well, I definitely wouldn't say don't go into anything without a plan, but don't get stuck at the plan.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The over planning.
Yeah.
It's like there's so much overthinking that kind of takes place. So, I mean, I think overall, for me, I really want to make sure that women understand the power in having multiple streams of income, being an entrepreneur or being an investor, even as young as 25, 26. I have a 26-year-old daughter, and even several of her friends, I constantly pour into them about having your own. There is a very delicate balance that has to take place with being feminine, being submissive, but also being powerful at the same time. And you should not have to trade one for the other. You shouldn't have to say, oh, I can't be a powerful businesswoman because then I am going to be looked at as being hard or not feminine and not submissive. You should be able to do both. And there's just a delicate balance there that has to take place.
It is a delicate balance, but it is definitely one that's extremely hard to achieve.
It's you know, you just got to know when to flip the switch.
It sounds easier said than done, especially when I think about having these businesses. There are so many times that I have probably put in 12 to 14-hour days for years. So having that balance can be tricky. Sometimes you need that softer side to be at home waiting for you.
That's not what they're there for.
Well, that's not
what they're there for.
Sometimes you need that.
I mean, I think more understanding, and which is why it's important who you date and who you ultimately marry. Because I mean, seriously, I know most men think that they can deal with it, but they cannot. It is a proven fact. It's not an opinion. It is a fact that they cannot. All men cannot deal with entrepreneurs, women who are entrepreneurs. They just can't.
Certainly, and I think a lot of them jump in, and I think they can be comfortable with it for a period of time. But the stretch, that long run.
No, yeah, it's a situation. You have to be mentally prepared for something like that. And I think that's what it takes. Like I said, it's a very delicate balance, being able to be soft and feminine, but also being firm and strong. And it really takes, the one thing that's extremely important is the ability to effectively communicate your thoughts, feelings, emotions at the appropriate time, and your level of expectation. I don't really have expectations when it comes to them helping me or being my peace in that way.
Well,
just let me.
I'm a tough cookie because I do.
So when I'm ready,
I do.
I'll be gone.
Right.
I'll be in Aruba for a week. I'll see you when I get back. And do not bother me.
No, well, and that's the difference. I do have expectations, and maybe that does maybe present some challenges because if I'm gonna work a 14-hour day, I'll be doggone. And I love to cook. But I ain't cooking after I done work 14 hours. So either you got something already prepared or you've already ordered. I don't want to have to think about that. Yeah.
Also, I'm not like that. I would
know.
always make sure that there was food there, even after a 14-hour day.
Wow. Go.
And guess what? I'm divorced and you're not. So what's wrong with that picture?
Right.
So I don't know. Something's wrong with that picture. I don't have the answers for sure. I don't have any answers.
And I think the answers are different for everybody. You know what I mean? Because obviously it falls into...
It was a situation.
Right.
But I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah. I mean, if you check even history, women generally stayed at home. So sometimes all of the things that they provided at home, and I'm not saying that I expect my significant other or whatever to be at home, because I mean, in today's society, if you are in a relationship, you definitely could use both of those incomes. It's real out here, for real.
Especially when you're an entrepreneur and it's not consistent.
Yeah.
I mean, there are going to be months that you are doing exceptionally well, and then there are months that you need help.
Right. And that might be the months I cook. But but I always feel like it has to be that give and take balance. A lot of people always say the 50-50 thing.
Ooh, clutch the pearl.
Right. But
what's that?
So it has to be 100-100.
Yeah,
everybody has to come with their
100%. Yeah, 100%. But, men like the 50-50 conversation until they meet someone who makes more money than them.
Right.
Then they don't want 50-50. They want you to pay more.
They do.
Yeah, I mean, they only want 50-50 when they think they make more money.
So I think that's what creates the challenges of giving that softer side. I mean, I really do feel like when you are the breadwinner and you are the one supporting the household, there's a level of stress that comes with that. We've
100%.
seen it. Yeah, we've seen it for years with men. And that's why so many women are taking on this stress now, because they are becoming the providers of the household. So it is very, very important that you do keep your mental intact and that you do have someone that's willing to cook a meal or pick up a meal for you, whatever the case may be, to keep that peace in your home.
So these are the reasons why women only date up.
That's a thought. But as somebody who
did date up,
well, I'm just saying, like, does the expectation always fit who you are as a person? If you I'm just saying.
Does it?
I think we talk about having our own and being an entrepreneur and being a boss babe. I won't use that other word. Being a boss babe, but what does that look like when you do date up? Do you have to completely give that up?
No. No, because it's that delicate balance.
Okay. Well, maybe I haven't met that date up guy, because
It's
they
delicate balance.
Oh, I feel like we do a much better job of balancing than men do. I will say that. So I do feel like when you date up, marry up, or whatever the case may be, some of that boss babe stuff kind of has to take a back seat, whether you want it to
For
or
sure.
not. Yeah.
I 100% agree.
But do you always want that?
Yes. I think the older you get, you don't want that title. The young girls want the boss babe title. The older you get, you don't want that title. That's not attractive. Think about if you're 40, 45, 50. What's attractive about hustling and grinding? No one wants that. You want to be able to effectively manage expectations and manage your investments and manage your business effectively.
Which is still a boss babe.
Well,
managing all of those things effectively,
is.
to me, you bossing up to be able to do
but
those
you don't
things.
want to be that. Like, that's not what you want to be recognized as. You want to be able to, like, what's most important to me is my freedom. So I like that if someone calls me right now and says, hey, you want to fly out tomorrow? Sure. Give me 2 seconds.
Right.
Let me throw some stuff to bed and I'm ready. I like my freedom. So the more you're in this entrepreneurial game, you learn to manage things well, where you can have 2 or 3 projects going on at one time. And you're either delegating most of those tasks out, or you have systems in place that are airtight, where you don't have to be the boss chick all the time. You're just
so beautiful, but
that is what it is, though. Honestly, that's what it is.
It's always the goal for certain.
It is
but
what it is.
Does it always happen? Especially dealing in today's society where so many people want to have work. So needing those systems in place, if it requires people. There are a lot of entrepreneurs who don't have a payroll. It's just them, you know what I mean? And they are able to manage, but when you have, I guess, a list of people on your payroll, those systems can be in place, but I have experienced that some of my business look totally different when I'm not there.
It does.
Right.
One point you made. If you don't have a payroll, are you really an entrepreneur?
Listen.
That's a question, because I'm like, that's a whole nother level.
There are tons of businesses, I mean tons, registered that don't have any employees.
Yeah. So that means you just own your job.
Yeah.
You're not an entrepreneur.
And maybe, and just for example, it could be someone who has maybe several Airbnbs. So
you have people you're paying, you have contractors. Because you have to, if you own Airbnbs, you have to have contractors that are either managing it or doing the cleaning, or who's meeting the guests to do the key handoff.
Would you consider that payroll or just someone you contract
Those
out?
are contractors.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in that case, well, I was just trying to think.
But who's managing it? So if you're managing it, that's your job.
Some people are.
So that means you own your job.
Yes.
An entrepreneur is someone who owns an enterprise where they manage the systems, not do the work.
Definitely. Yeah.
You're managing the systems,
not the people. That's
right.
the goal. That's
so that's the difference.
Yeah.
I think people overuse the term entrepreneur.
Oh yeah, certainly.
Everyone wants to be an entrepreneur. It's become sexy over the past few years. We've been doing this forever when it wasn't cute to be an entrepreneur. They actually told us to go to college.
Right. For certain.
And get a degree.
Right.
And because this wasn't going to work. And, we knew back then that we were making more than physicians and attorneys.
Correct. I mean, I can remember like my girls being in college and they wanted to go on vacation. And who was taking care of the whole trip? You know what I mean? So, yeah. Because you want to do what you want your girls there. And at that point, you're not worried about, you're just worried about having fun. Yeah. When you have that opportunity to have fun, because it's not always fun, even at a young age as an entrepreneur. The sleeves have to stay rolled up because you have to start, I guess, creating your brand at a young age. Yeah. But yeah, back to that, I really do think it's the goal to have the systems in place. For sure. People don't always follow those systems, unfortunately.
That's the challenge.
It is a challenge.
It's definitely a challenge. So, one part of entrepreneurship that I think most people struggle with is managing the employees and managing the staff. And of course, it depends on, what industry you're in as to whether they're needed or not, because there are several ways to get around it. You even see now that a lot of businesses are bringing AI into their businesses. I mean, of course, look at us. We go into CVS. They don't even have, I don't even know a CVS that I've been in where there was a person at the front. Right. I mean, so there are some businesses that are able to do that, but there are a lot of businesses who still can't do that. But that's all changing. A lot of that is changing in a lot of different industries.
It sure is.
So,
I don't know how I feel about that in that regard, because so many jobs are being replaced, which is maybe important as we're talking about.
They should be replaced. These lazy people out. It's like, that wasn't nice.
Right, it wasn't nice.
That wasn't nice.
But it was very true.
I take that back. God forgive me. Let me
But
say
it was
my
very
affirmation.
honest because well, I don't know. The affirmation might help you, but will it still make people not be lazy? I mean, I think we are, especially, and I won't start with the Gen Zers and all of that because
because that's the reason.
Right. That honestly, some of the reasons that these systems that we put in place cannot really go and flow the way they should. I mean, I know for both of the businesses and the 3 businesses that I do, they all require people.